Hello everybody. I've got a video I've been looking forward to for a while. We're going to talk about cock tech. Now, I talked about this in my last video, how there's a couple of tricks or kind of, ideas I want to talk about that I think are actually kind of useful to know. The other one's flourish tech, which I'll probably make a video in the next day or two, which I've actually seen some people start to do, so I'm not the only one who's figured this out, but I'd rather tell the whole community so that way you know about it, so you know what to do, if you want to use it or not, and you know when someone's going to get against you. But we're talking about flaming chickens today. So what is cock tech? Cock tech is essentially you going to find a chicken on the map. They're on most of the team objective maps. They're pretty rare, and whenever there are some, there's usually a lot, so you can pretty reliably use it. Grabbing a chicken, burning on fire, and then you use it to jab people. If you haven't played the tutorial or you forgot, jabbing is, I think, R by default. It's like a quick jab, usually it's like 5-10 damage, whatever, not a lot, and it'll interrupt someone's combo or animations. It's useful. You can get a little extra damage out and stop people, but with the flaming chicken, you're going to be doing about a third to half their HP on like the fastest attack in the game. Pretty nuts. And so that's basically how cock tech works. Now, you're going to want to use the jab kind of properly. You don't want to just spam it, and I kind of do that in some of the clips, probably rolling in the background. That's more just because I want to get the clips, because I want to like light people on fire. But what you really want to do is just use a jab like you normally would, and that's when maybe you land a hit and you follow up with a jab. Someone hits you and you want to interrupt their combo, you can jab, you kick or a guard break, like they run out of stamina. Those are great times to jab. And if you're just beside someone, you have your pants, you can just jab them real quick if you're behind someone. But yeah, it does just a crazy amount of damage. I wouldn't say it's not like a maul. It's not gonna one-shot someone, but for how fast the attack is and how you can basically just layer on top of your normal damage from your normal one-handed weapon that you're gonna be using, which is probably gonna be very fast. It's just an absurd amount of damage. And you're gonna be getting like burned, and people kind of freak out when you start them on fire. They might start playing. They'll usually either play to an extreme. They'll usually be super aggressive because they think you're gonna die in a second. They'll go all out, or they'll try to really hard disengage from a fight so they can throw up a bandage or something. Either way, that's kind of a win. But obviously, if they want to disengage, consider putting up some more pressure, or maybe some teammates here that hopefully will clean them up. Where to find the chickens? Most town areas are going to have chickens. I've not been able to find any at the nighttime ambush forest map, but the rest of the maps all have chickens. Siege of Run Home, there where you bring the rams or like the bridges up, all the way on the left, the very end of that point, you'll see chicken coop. There's about a dozen or so chickens there. I think it's going to be in the thumbnail. Every other place are basically just, if there's a town area, that's where the chickens will be. And also the prison, there's like kind of the prison town, one of the later objectives. There's some chickens just scattered all around, probably closer to the defending spawn than the offensive spawn. And that's one other thing. Most of the time, if you want to use this, you'll probably want, it's more convenient to be on the defending side. You don't have to be, but you're usually, most of the maps are going to have easier access to grab the actual chickens and then light them on fire. And if you don't know how to light them on fire, I believe running to like a firebomb will light them on fire, but obviously that's super impractical. What happens is most torches are scattered around the map, braziers, if there's a place where people are grabbing torches, pretty much like campfires or fireplaces, almost anything that has fire on it, sort of like a tiny candle on a table, actually will set the chickens on fire. I was actually constantly surprised about how many things actually have been programmed to set the chicken on fire. It's kind of crazy. So really, if you see it, and if the fire source is as big as the chicken or bigger, you could probably use, even if it's like up on a wall or something, you could probably use it to light the chicken. Also, it seems like the chicken has its own hitbox that kind of extends in front of you. So if one of the things you'd use commonly are like the little metal braziers on the ground, and you have to jump on them, but the chicken will get lit before it gets lit. That's so funny. Before you set on fire, so just jump, try to edge it out. Look at the fire source, because the hitbox extends more in front of you than to the left, I find. And if you just jump on the edge, the chicken will get lit, and you won't light on fire. If you do, you can just ban it. Not the end of the world. But yeah, you're gonna probably want to use this on a class with a good one-hander. I think the officer does have like the sword or whatever sidearm, so that's pretty good. but obviously you can use Guardian, Men-at-Arms. You can use the Ambusher, but the Ambusher doesn't really start out with any big weapons, so I don't know. And then you're also losing the daggers, which are really strong. So you can also throw the chicken, which will set them on fire, but yeah. Bandaging will not drop the chicken, but using like your class ability and other stuff will. The chicken does drop. I don't know how long it'll. First, it's never burnt down to me, so I think the chicken just stays on fire forever. If you drop the chicken, I'm sure it'll despawn at some point, but I always have time to like place a banner down, use a horn, whatever, and then pick the chicken back up. One other thing though is I have run into a glitch once or twice where if you use the horn, you'll have to like throw away the weapon you're using with the chicken in order to be able to pick it back up. I don't know why. It wouldn't let me like switch weapons either. Very weird. I'm not sure why that glitch happens. If that bug happens. If it happens to me one more time, I'm gonna probably write a report. I don't know how to write bug reports, but for this game, but I'll figure it out. Anyways, yeah. That's pretty much it. Go ahead and try it. It's a lot of fun. I was even able to top score multiple times just by standing a chicken. You're not gonna be able to use it the entire time throughout the map, but a lot of the maps you can use it like half the time. It's a lot of fun. Just make sure you don't hit friendlies because you will do. I'm pretty sure it's the full fire damage. The jab won't do anything, but you will do the whole fire damage. You have to be careful. It's also got very short range, so make sure you're not getting like outrange. Make sure you aren't just gonna whiff it. Sometimes you want to go in with your primary weapon, which will be a bit longer, and then follow up with a jab afterwards, especially if they want to attack back, retaliate. Just watch out for the kind of like perfect counter successes where they have like a bit of block frames or whatever you want to call it after they start attacking. So you don't want to watch out for that because you'll just get slapped if that happens. But yeah, it's also great practice just to use the jab, because I see, myself included, I don't use the jab to the fullest of its ability because it's just free damage like half the time, and then it's also useful to stop someone from being really aggressive. So it's probably great practice with using jab, and I think a lot of people could probably use a bit more practice with that mechanic. It's kind of brand new to the genre. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I will make another video hopefully soon. I really appreciate all the support my tier list got. Yeah, go ahead and subscribe if you want, because I'll be making the occasional shift video, hopefully. I would really appreciate it. And y'all, have fun grabbing cocks. Bye.
Tragedy.